Welcome to the Nightcap. I'm Carolina Sanchez reporting live from a cantina far, far away. Apologies for breaking into your regular programming, but we are hearing reports that the leader of the rebellion was... What are you doing here? You better... Harder!
Yeah, what's up for a Nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
All right, we're starting things behind the bar because I have actually made peace with the Imperial forces and their fearless leader, Darth Vader. Because actually what we're talking about is Empire Strips Back, a burlesque parody. Oh yeah, we've got Caroline and Lana here looking fabulous. And of course I've got Jasmine Sosa Houston, who is playing the Dark Lord. Is that who he is in Star Wars? So, I mean, I'm gonna come clean and just say I have never watched Star Wars. I really don't know much.
It's okay.
But I feel like if I'm going to a burlesque show, it's gonna be a time whether I know or don't.
Yeah,
know.
we have people come all the time who've never watched any of the movies and they still love it.
Wow. Okay. So Jasmine, I mean, reading your bio, you have played multiple characters in this production.
Yeah.
What makes this show so unique?
I think it's the fact that we have such diverse talent in our show. Like, we all come from different dance backgrounds, so you're gonna see a little bit of like all styles. We have jazz, we have hip hop, and so like you're not ever gonna be bored, and there's always gonna be some surprising element in our show.
Oh yeah, I mean, and burlesque in general, I've had the fortune of going and taking a class for this show, and audience got to see that it is not easy, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you have to have like a very certain level of like awareness of yourself with seduction, being sexy, but having everything in the right place.
Yeah.
How do y'all get to have fun while keeping all of this in mind? Because it ain't easy, baby.
I think we just have a lot of freedom to kind of like explore who we are along with how the character is like in the movie. So our director gives us a lot of freedom to like really kind of build each act or each performance ourselves.
Oh, that's
so,
great.
Yeah, it's not really like set in stone, like this is how it has to be, but we get to play around a lot.
Yeah. All right, and you mentioned the movies. So is everyone like aware of the movies, or does everyone study the movies? Like, at what level is the fandom of the performers?
Like of the performers, we have different ranges.
Okay,
of fandom.
okay, fair.
Yeah, I think all of us grow to love it even more once we actually get into the show, because we see all these characters every single day. So we're like, oh, this is my favorite act. I automatically love this character.
Yeah. And burlesque shows are fun, but I assume like the Star Wars nerds and geeks are probably like truly amazed.
Crazy.
Truly, crazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
they go crazy
How
for
do they
us.
act? How do they act? What do they
Yelling
like?
out stuff that some of us have never even heard of. Our MC really like guides them through each performance, so they get to interact with him and have conversations with him. Yeah, so they just get to nerd out all the way.
What? Okay, so are people like taking photos afterward? Like, oh my God, you did an incredible job.
We don't allow photos or videos, and then we are not allowed to go out in costume afterwards. So we just walk out like regular people.
Okay, so I got a very special treat today,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I'm glad you watched the Nightcap, but now they have to go to the show. So you guys are in Houston. I mean, you guys are all over the place, because this show was supposed to be just a one-off, 3 nights, and now it's in multiple cities, multiple weeks for runs.
Yeah.
But you're in Houston currently, and you're going for 8 weeks. This ends what, like?
March 31st.
March 31st.
believe,
Okay, so
yeah.
they got to get their tickets now. How can
Yeah.
they get their tickets?
You can go to feverup.com and search The Empire Strips Back.
Okay, how many shows a week are y'all doing?
We do 6 shows a week right now.
6 shows
Yeah.
a week.
So
Okay.
Single show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. 2 shows on Saturdays.
Is there any funny elements?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there's
you will
fun-
laugh the whole time.
Oh, we're gonna be laughing.
Yes.
And be seduced.
Yes.
Oh, so I just gotta go see this.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, dang. All right. So the people that are buying their tickets, they're gonna be able to experience the bar. And I hear there's, I don't know if I'm saying this, Wookiee panties.
Yeah, we got Wookiee panties.
What? Okay. What? Remember, I came clean and said I know nothing about Star Wars. Is there a character that wears panties, or?
No, it's just panties with a picture of a Wookiee on it.
Of a-
The Wookiee, Chewbacca. So
Chewbacca panties. I know who Chewbacca is. I know who Chewbacca. Chewbacca panties.
if you want him on your panties, we got those.
You guys sell merch too.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so this is unique merch. Sexy,
Yes.
flirty, funny. Okay, I love it. All right, and there's a bar so people can have some drinks, have a good time, and then obviously, hopefully, take pictures with y'all outside.
Catch us outside.
Catch y'all outside. Awesome. Okay, so y'all already know what you have to do. You gotta go to Fever Up, get tickets for the Empire Strips Back, a burlesque parody for a fun time with gorgeous troopers and fearless leaders. All right, you stay right there. One of the Nightcap continues with some seduction and dress up. Welcome back to the Nightcap. As you know, we're talking about seduction and dressing up. And of course, I had to invite my girl, Lady Annabelle, back. You know her as a burlesque dancer and owner of Houston's Divine Studios. And baby, you've shown me a thing or two. And you were here during our pilot week, so we know what you can do, baby.
I like that. I'm back for more.
And you've brought a friend, Roxy Rebel. Thank you for being here. And
Thank you for
you've
having
got
me.
your feathers.
I did. I brought them.
The corset. Yes.
It is working.
And of course, to explore it a little further, we've got Dr. Ty Lerman, who's a clinical sexologist and sex therapist, because baby, we're going to talk about how it seeps into the bedroom.
Let's go.
All right, ladies, I'm going to start with you because, you know, burlesque is all about seduction. It's all about tapping into, you know, creating the desire for more, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like you create a different character when you're performing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tap into that character, you know, before you even put your makeup on. But then as you're like putting your hair and makeup on, you're just like fully engulfing. You're changing into that person. Like it's a pretty cool feeling because you get to feel that, but then you get to like make other people feel that too.
Yeah,
So-
and it depends on what act you're presenting. You can be that character. So I have a Girl Scout cookie act that is very playful and mischievous, kind of like a Harley Quinn type of vibe. And then we have the more seductive ones that are just full tease and glamour and diamonds and rhinestones and feathers. So it's definitely, you get to change around who that character is and what they are in this moment or this act.
Do you have a hard time differentiating your, and I'm not going to use your government names, but your government self who's out here in the streets buying groceries?
Our nerd names.
Your nerd name versus who you are on stage.
I definitely have a different personality. I think when I walk into a room, people expect me to be very outgoing, and she's blonde and she's got big features, and I'm actually kind of quiet and a little bit more reserved and like probably not the first person to introduce myself to someone. Whereas Roxy, I get to be that kind of like, you know, other personality that my nerd name is not.
That your nerd name is not. Lady.
You know, if I am like full hair and makeup and I go to the grocery store, wherever I go after, I am most likely like staying in channel. I'm just like feeling Lady Annabelle. Now when I go home, that's my thing is like I said, if I'm dolled up, if I'm in whatever character costume I'm in, yeah, I'm gonna do some house cleaning and look really sexy doing it.
You're like, I'm Lady Annabelle,
Yeah.
and baby, that thing's gonna be clean.
when the makeup and everything comes off, then it really is like that's where my disconnect is.
Dr. Ty, I want to bring you into this. Is there something wrong with them?
Wrong?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so this is
They're
normal.
living their lives.
Living their lives. Okay, I mean, I feel like it might be like a personality issue or something. Not issue. That feels very strong.
Create one.
But you know, like, is that something that everyone should tap into, or?
I never use the word should.
Ooh.
But I do think that there, what we're talking about is like playfulness, right? We get to go play, and when we take on a different personality than what is our default personality, it allows us to expand our view of life. It actually taps into empathy of thinking about how would other people experience things differently than how I experience it. And it gets us the ability to kind of dive in and to tap into like our childhoody kind of, you get to play around, and it taps into creativeness, which is all things we need in the bedroom and in relationships. And so it keeps things novel, it keeps things fun. And that novelty is really important in relationships.
Not you bringing up relationships in bedroom. Coming up next, I'm going to ask about your relationships in the bedroom and how, you know, the seduction plays a part when you're dressing up. All right, you stay right there. More of this conversation continues after the break. Back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about taking the stage and being seductive, but how does that play a role at home and in your relationships? We've got Lady Annabelle and Roxy Revel and Dr. Ty Lerman, who is a clinical sexologist and sex therapist. All right, Dr. Ty, you talked about how this is great for feeding, you know, your relationships in the bedroom, being playful and having empathy, all wonderful things. But ladies, do you, not y'all both turn. Do your stage names, stage characters, what do you call them, characters?
Stage names.
Stage names.
Persona, yeah.
Do they come home with you into your relationships? Or?
There's like a definite disconnect if we're, you know, you want to dress up for your partner and be really sexy, but my partner definitely knows when I am being satirical and in my Roxy-ness versus being really authentic, or you know, if I'm trying to be very seductive or silly, and it helps being able to unlock that part of your brain and kind of turn it on and turn it off if you want to be really authentic and not that other character.
Right. I feel like one is like and one is making love.
There you go.
Yeah?
I like that.
Okay. Lady, what about you?
Mine's a little different. I do like coming home, and he likes me coming home and just kind of staying in that that role and that mindset that I've been in for my Lady Annabelle endeavors. So yeah, it's really hot. You know, if I come home in a wig from, like we're talking about, an anime cosplay gig, I will leave that wig on in the car on the way home, because that's kind of something that will lead into the bedroom with us. And yeah, I always feel more fierce and like and hot and like sexy, and that's a part of me inside that like I really need to express that to my partner, and he loves it too. So you know, a little bit different whenever I'm not with no makeup and my hair not done, but there's just something different about turning up that heat,
the
and like
inhibitions are gone,
yeah,
right?
Lady Annabelle's wild.
Yeah. And if you're coming in different characters, like I feel like your partner is getting to explore different people.
That part.
Yeah. And is there a line to be crossed? Are there boundaries to be had when role playing?
Well, I mean, everything is about consent, right? And so it's about conversations about what is it that you want to bring into the bedroom in this, and is this okay with you to explore? And if everyone's in agreement, then the line is where you say it is.
Consent is sexy.
Yes.
Yes, no, consent is super sexy. We preach that on the show all the time.
Yes.
Roxy, you make it seem like your partner is kind of like, sometimes I want nerd name to be here, as opposed to Roxy.
Yeah, like a little tidbit. I came home the other day, I worked from home, and I had a big unicorn onesie on, but I had put something really sexy on underneath it. And he's like, I'm gonna come home for lunch. And I'm like, okay. So he thinks I'm coming home to this giant onesie unicorn, and I, whoop, you know, surprise. And I think that's, playfulness is like that, where you can kind of surprise that I take from my performing and put it into my real life. But he knows that if I got eyelashes on and lipstick, he's like, girl, go do your thing and come back to me when you're done.
And there's some people who have been down for the unicorn onesie. Right? Like, let's role play, let's go.
Let's keep it to here and let's go.
It was in the mix for sure.
I feel like there's got to be a spectrum here. I feel like there's some people who, you know, obviously don't do this for a living and aren't as talented as y'all, but do want to explore, you know, maybe bringing a different character home, you know, typically the secretary or the nurse or something like that. What is a good way to introduce this playfulness with your partner?
I don't think there's a wrong way. I mean,
I'm not saying what's the
like,
wrong way.
yeah,
I'm asking for a tip or advice, the best way.
I hate to be like a broken record, but it's just having the conversation. It's like, what would you think about if I dressed up a little bit tonight? What if I wore that onesie? What would you think of that? Or underneath the onesie, what do you think of that? And just kind of test the waters and see what your partner says or how they react. I'm a huge fan of Dan Savage's Good Giving and Game, and this is a fun thing to be willing to do. And
what is Good Giving and Game? Have
Oh,
y'all heard of
Lord.
this?
No, I was
Oh, Dan Savage. If you don't know him, he's a great podcaster and
Columnist.
He coined the term the 3 Gs, good, giving, and game. So to get good at anything takes a little work. I say it takes practice and feedback. And so to get good at anything, to be giving to our partners is to, we give without the expectation of reciprocation. We give to give, right? And then to be game is to be game for anything within reason, right? And so if you don't have an ick factor, be willing to play. Right? If it doesn't immediately turn you off and you're like, oh, that's a red. We were talking earlier, like glitter is a red for me. No, absolutely not. No glitter. That's a red. But if it's not a red, if there's not an ick factor, be willing to explore and to be game to try.
Good, giving, and game.
You got it.
Okay. All right, ladies, I want some tips for the people at home about how they can prepare to express themselves in a playful manner. Are y'all down to share some tips coming up next?
Yeah.
All right, you stay right there. The ladies are going to give some advice coming up next. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been having fun talking about being playful in the bedroom with some dress up. I've got Lady Annabelle, Roxy Revel, and Dr. Ty Lerman here. All right, ladies, for those people at home who are like, you know what, I do want to spice things up by like dressing up or role playing or getting into a different character, what advice do you have for them, you know, as they begin to test these waters?
I would say be sexy anytime you take your sock off, you know, it's cold outside, maybe you have mittens on, and just kind of do it sexy. If it's for your cat, for your man, your wife, whoever.
So do you do this when you go home and you are sexy when there's not an audience? Maybe other than your cat?
I always have dogs watching me, but
this is not a form of bestiality, folks. This is not bestiality.
But yeah, it's just because we get to live in this body, we get to experience it, and that is something that should be not just take your shirt off and put your, you know, bedtime pajama shirts on. Like, make it an experience.
I love this as getting used to your body.
Yeah.
I love that as an idea.
And feeling
Great
sexy
tip.
in your own skin.
Yeah.
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 All right, lady. You've given me plenty of tips over the few years that I've known you. But for people at home who are really, you know, just want to stick a little toe in.
I want to tiptoe in, and honestly, that's kind of the best way to start most of the time is just start small. Start with maybe putting on some lipstick that you never wear, you know, throw on some red lips, throw on some mascara, and, you know, that's going to get noticed, and I wouldn't think that would, you know, offend or hopefully no red flags to your partner. It's kind of like each person to their own circumstances of their relationship. So
Comfort level.
If maybe you never do this, but your partner is like, you know, a little bit more on the edgy side already, then say something. Say, hey, I found this really cool outfit and I think it would look great on me. You know, send it to them. See their response as well, you know, see how they receive that. But I think starting small is good. And unless you know, have this conversation and they're like, yes, green flag, go, then I say, wig it. like I say glitter,
but that might be a red flag for some.
For me.
Partners don't like glitter
For other people,
sometimes. It's everywhere.
Enjoy.
Is it really everywhere?
It seeps out of their pores, literally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see glitter on my partner, and I'm like, oh, that's me. But another tip would be coming to class.
Yeah.
Coming to
Yeah,
class.
come to
Okay,
class.
tell me more. I've been to class. Tell the people more.
You have been to class. We have opened a lot more. So Houston Divine Studio is expanded. Roxy teaches burlesque, Broadway jazz, and classical ballet. So yeah, getting to tap into that and really feeling your body and appreciating your body is a big step before you try and just maybe throw yourself out there at someone else. It can be more relaxing for both of you. So we've got all those classes. We have lyrical, floor work, hair and chair, lots of new teachers.
Yes.
And yeah, so
And it's open to all. Y'all are so inclusive. Men, women,
Yes.
people. Yeah, I love it.
Come
awesome.
as you are.
Go to
yeah.
Houston Divine Studio. Awesome. Thank y'all so much for coming on and sharing. All right. Cheers to you. We'll see you guys next time here on the Nightcap.